Hi, good morning. My name is Theodore Cottingham in the School of Cosmic Leadership. To become no longer bound to earth in your present form, a new being, a new creation, forming it in your speech first, not in the foment of your hate or your ignorance, but in love. I give you these words in love, and I come before you as a simple man with a preposterous, ludicrous idea for your consideration that we are becoming no longer limited to earth. But as such, we must lay down our ideas of what reality is and who we are, what we are made up of, what our capacity is, and how we love each other, how we treat each other. Jesus was not special. Jesus became extraordinary. Unbelievable. Preposterous to do the things that he did. A man? A man walking on water? Come now. Defying all the expectations, all the experiences of all the learned, of all people on earth. Defying gravity, walking on water, turning water into wine. That's transformation. Jesus is our pattern. Jesus became the first born again new creation. There have been none since. I suggest to you, we are understanding the pattern of Jesus now and what the message was of Jesus. That Jesus lived for us to see our power, our authority, the recognition of us, who we are, a race of light people. A born-again person is not subject to this earth. A born-again person is a real me. I define it. Me, not me, Theodore in flesh. Me, perfect love. Purity not confined to earth. And all the gobbledygook that's been contrived and conjured up to create a soul, have a soul, and the need to save a soul, and that somebody else can save your soul by you saying a little prayer. That's more preposterous than you walking on water. That's more ludicrous than saying you have the power to turn water into wine. That you can call Lazarus forth from the cave and raise the dead. It's much easier to believe you have the power, authority, capacity to learn how to do these things if you will, if you're willing to lay down what cements, what concretizes, what forms you in your present image. I suggest to you there are thousands ready. Thousands. Millions, actually, that are ready for this message, ready to hear this message, ready to study this message, to consider it, examine it, to examine what I teach, examine meonics. I teach meonics, becoming the real me. The real me that existed before time. Because my time is not on your atomic clock. Or is your doomsday clock about to expire or hit midnight? Or what are you thinking? What are you willing to receive? The knowledge of? What are you willing to conceive? Are you willing to conceive your knowledge into being the conceiver, the receiver, conceiver, transceiver, transmitter, one that walks the waves of the world, no longer in confinement? Will you consign yourself no more, resign yourself no more to such a fate? I am becoming the real me, and I ask you to become the real you. The real you. Where you shed a little more light on things, a little less ambiguity, a little less confusion. What are you willing to consider? A new definition. A new definition of what? Born again? A new definition of what? A Jesus story? How Jesus did what he did? And why he did those things? What was his motive? What is your motive? What are you willing to see this day? What are you willing to write? What are you willing to be? Are you willing to see a different story? Are you willing to consider a different story? Are you willing to conceive a new creation that's you? Are you willing to conceive the seed? The seed? The seed is the word. Are you willing to receive your seed and conceive a new race? A new race of light people. We could call it various things. Various people have all sorts of names for what they want to apply their nuances to and create unique aspirations of. But what do you aspire to? Just to have a better life? have life more abundantly, a little easier, a little less month than the stream of your paycheck? You see, there's a well-known Bible verse that says it's easier, something like this, easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man into heaven, or something like that, right? Why is that so? Might it be so? Let's consider it for a moment. If you're rich, wealthy, affluent, you're not just trying to work 2 or 3 jobs to have enough to pay your light bill and have shoes for your kids. Maybe you have an abundance. You have an abundance of wealth. Maybe you're in health. You have health and wealth. You're satisfied. You're content. You feel powerful. You feel the future is yours, and you are controlling it. You feel an authority. You feel like you have an authority, that you may even know your place. So it's harder, maybe harder, for a healthy, wealthy, content, affluent person having no physical, no earthly needs, to lay down all of this authority and power to walk in your affluence and exercise your ability to make your decisions. It's harder to lay that down. Harder to go and sell all that you have and distribute all your riches to the poor. Maybe than it is for someone who knows so much pain, lives in desperation, wanting a crumb from a rich man's table, wanting some kind of medicine to numb their pain, heal their hurt. I hope you don't have to become destitute to begin to consider the ideas, the teachings, the lessons that I have given you, and that we have been sold many ideas that we ourselves have propagated to other people and perpetuated, that have kept us from doing the things that Jesus did and more. We have used our minds at times to come together collectively, collaboratively, for the purpose of working for a company, giving hours unlimited, spending our life to make them rich, to make them successful, for us to have income to pay the light bill. But what are we? I suggest we are no more special, and we are no less special than Jesus. You see, to understand the message of Jesus, you must see a non-religious story. See his humanity. How human he was. How perfectly human. He had to learn the language. Irrespective of whether you think he was born of a virgin or not. That's not the issue. He had red blood. He had to learn the language. He learned how to do carpentry. He learned how to survive. He learned how to operate here, just like you and I. He learned the scriptures. He learned how to read. He applied, was diligent. But see, what I teach, Meonics, Jesus was not special. You see, if you consider Jesus special, that negates John 14:12 and any possibility of it. Jesus said, if you believe in me, you will do the things I do and greater. Christianity comes along and hijacks the message. They see. They can't control the message. So they convert it to their use. Do you believe me? Check it out. Do your due diligence. Don't take my word for it. Conceive a curiosity. Conceive your ability to do your own due diligence. You can research in this day and age quite easily. Most people can. A lot of people can. You can communicate with other worlds. Many people do. Successfully, surreptitiously, insidiously, mistakenly. What are you willing to know? I'm not willing to live my life for another person according to what they think. I decided if there was any value to that Bible verse that said something about it is appointed and man once to die and then the judgment to stand before what I called for so many decades, God Almighty. At the judgment at the end of my life. One of the things I somehow became so aware of is that I would stand there alone. I wouldn't stand there with my wife. I wouldn't stand there with another person. There'd be no pastor. There'd be no preacher. There'd be no person to blame or point the finger toward. But what about this, that, and the other? No. My responsibility, and I no longer shirk it. I have an authority to be me. You, my friend, have a great, tremendous, unbelievable, unimaginable ability to be you and do all the things Jesus did and more. Aren't you curious about the and more? and more? Wouldn't you like to stop the sex trafficking? Wouldn't you like to stop the war in Ukraine, Gaza, Lebanon, Sudan? The civil wars, the infighting, the hate, the brutality. It's not alchemy. It's love. If you're willing to conceive love, my friend, are you willing to hear love? Are you willing to feel love? Are you willing to love? Are you willing to learn to love love so that love begins to communicate with you in a different way? So that words, a voice, an energy, a line of communication, a means of communication, where you speak like this, where you begin to explain things to you through your own mouth. I did for years. I do still. I am not creating this message, this lesson, with my cognitive power. I am using my cognitive power, my voice, my breath, breathing, letting something, letting something unknowable communicate with me that I convert to words. Something of love, an energy of love. Can love be an energy? Can love be taught? Can love conceive? Intangible love, yet you feel it. You see the motive. You feel the motive. Haven't you conversed with people where they say one thing, but looking in their eyes, you feel they don't mean what they say? Sometimes they mean the opposite, and you're fully aware of it. We are becoming a race no longer shystered, no longer shy. We're becoming a race to listen to who we are from another source through us. Will you allow the love of love to teach you directly to love become the body of love? Amorphous? Are you willing to see an amorphous body of you? An amorphous body? What is that? A body without shape or form? Casper the ghost? The Holy Ghost? An energy body? A quantum field? Are you willing to learn things you never imagined you would know? You never even conceived the idea that you wanted to know them or would benefit from value knowing them. Are you willing to expand your education beyond this world? This is a school of cosmic leadership. And I run it. Not. I lead it. I lead. I've written, I write, I love. And love torments me no more because I know the difference between love and unlove, between love and what I called God most of my life. I no longer serve God. And I ask you to grow up and grow out of your desire to worship a God, serve a God, seek a God's will, seek something that condemns you, criticizes you, critiques you, keeps a record of wrongs. Love doesn't keep a record of wrong. There's no jealousy in love, no wrath, no vengeance. When love looks at someone with a heart of love, I'll tell you what love's response is. Go read the story of what some call the prodigal son. When you're interested in learning who you are, not from another man, not just from me, not just from your Bible, not just from other books, even though I consider this so valuable. The Bible is valuable, but I interpret many things differently now because I no longer interpret them with such shallow meanings, because so many interpretations for generations have emasculated the original meaning. Just like John 14:12. If you read that verse through the eyes of your understanding that other people have given you, there's the temptation to interpret it as such. I'm asking you to reinterpret you to you and to see a different story about your origin, your species, your future, your capacity to learn, receive, conceive, and birth a new race. This is what born again is about. You don't enter your mother's womb the second time. This is of the Spirit. Why call it spirit? Is spirit a religious term or a term for an amorphous being? Or is it your original energy? What other word do we have for it? Maybe none of these words are perfectly defined. Perfectly defined? Because of the difference in language, nuances of speech, common vernaculars that vary with different dialects and experiences. But I say unto you this day, I'm becoming me, the real me. The me that does, that can do, chooses to do, and develops the power, the authority, the kingship, the privilege to be who I really am, to do the things Jesus did and more. So I value a lot of stories of Jesus. And I devalue a whole lot of stories in this book that so many people preach about all the time. Love does not ask for faith. Love does not seek faith. Love does not develop followers. See, there is an inextricable set of values within love. Love doesn't give you a list of commandments. Love doesn't create hell. Love does not tell you, worship me and worship nothing else. And if you don't worship me, I will visit your hardship, your sin, to your children. And not just you and your children, but to the third and fourth generation. My friends, that is not love. So we are coming into the maturity to differentiate. Rightly dividing the word of truth, well, you decide, because you decide your truth. What makes sense to you? What makes you feel good? What propels your matrimony to this world? Or are you willing to lay down this world? I tell you, the school is the costliest of all. Theodore Cottingham School of Cosmic Leadership. That's what I call it at the moment because it's so descriptive. We are no longer dedicating our lives to just make life better here. Even though, yes, I desire to end the famine, stop brutality, abolish patriarchy. But where I'm really going is no longer limited by this world. And I'm not taking you with me unless you grow your love. And then you don't need me. Not. If you grow your love and conceive the seed of love, pure truth, we become one-minded one. We will both operate with one head, not in comparison or competition, but in collaboration, but not limited to computation. Huge differences, you see. We think by thought. We converse about a thought. We converse about thinking. Cognitive association, cognitive powers, the ability of the mind, some kind of intelligence quotient. I assure you, you have much greater capacity to learn to operate in the cosmos, to be a cosmosite, a cosmopolitan of the cosmos, avant-garde, new age, new life, newborn that grows up. Are you willing to born again? You become born again? Where you birth you? Are you willing to conceive a new birth because you have the power to create it, you see? You have the beingness of perfect love because it's inextricable to the very fiber. Your essence of life itself. Not ridden anymore by a soul, like a rider rides a horse. You no longer let the mind mount you and usurp your power, ability, authority. You no longer walk in the halls of Congress powerless. Or what Congress are you no more the congressional affairs about? Or are you changing your party? Or will you be one, have one in the skies? Preposterous? Oh, this is all Dick Tracy stuff. Oh, man, I used to love to read the comic, the funny paper, we called it, as a kid. I'm 73. I remember Dick Tracy. The idea of a watch that he could talk to someone else across town through his watch. Where do you think technology is going? Communicating with. Why are the ideas advancing to communicate collectively, collaboratively? Could it be that there's a way to operate, to live, to conceive beyond the scope of our ability to imagine right now? Beyond our ability to fantasize about it? Are we a stranger in a strange land? Do you know Robert Heinlein, Octavia Butler, Philip K. Dick? Who really are the prophets? The science fiction writers? Ah, come now, that doesn't sound very spiritual, does it? But see, we've been taught spiritual things, godlike things, God things, and we've been inculcated with revering God, dedicating our lives to God, honoring a book, capping a book. We've been taught to shut off our love. Love one person only, and don't look at another. John 17, the world will know us by our love because we love each other. Whether you're married or not, whether you're gay or straight, been out of shape, all bent over. Will you love me? Who am I? I am everyone on the earth who will be me. And farther. And I go now. I told you multiple times. I've looked right here, recorded. I'm going now soon to a place you cannot command. And you won't demand anything of me. For I will be useless not. I will be the real me. And I will walk in power, grace, and glory. Not for the attainment of what you want to pose to me that should be an objective of. I'm no longer serving your God. I see the story. I have felt the motive. I have let the words flow through me that I did not control, that have given me these ideas, these visions, these pictures, this understanding. I see by my words, not my two eyes. Read Database 1. My covenant. My covenant. You can find the link on my website, theodorcottingham.com. The first 2,400 lessons that I channeled beginning in March of 2003, 21 years ago. You want to learn something? You want to learn something ludicrous, preposterous, unattainable, unimaginable, unknowable, impossible. Read the book. Quit studying that which stops the flow of your words. Will you become no longer afraid of your own voice, operating in your own authority to be the real you? Are you taking a look in the mirror to define you? Or are you beginning to learn a different story and no longer limit you to what you see in your mirror? No longer limiting you to your cognitive powers, no longer letting your five-sense mind rule you, give you reality, tell you what you must do and not. Look around the cosmos, my friend. Walk out tonight. Look at the stars. None of them are far away. Oh, you can define their distance in light years, right? Light years. Okay. But that's according to your classical physics, which no longer rule my world because it no longer rules my mind. My mind has become unlocked, unleashed, untethered to your arguments, to your book, your promises, your definition of my origin and my future. I'm becoming non-human. And I love it. No longer hurting. No longer powerless. Walking on water? You think I want to walk on water? No. I don't mind. But see, it's a communication device. It's part of the message. Everything Jesus did was his message to us to be the real I am. The I am that the real I am is. That's no longer a superfluous story to you, no longer a peripheral idea, but central to your life. I didn't write this to be easy to read. I don't talk in a linear line by line, sentence by sentence manner. I don't write, speak, or live with the diction, grammar, syntax like you see in the New York Times. But I still read. I read some in it. The Washington Post, Foreign Policy. What do you know about your world? Are you willing to see your power and no longer be limited to one? You see, if you're willing to become born again, there's a new truth. Older than time. The truth is, you conceive you. And you will be in this cycle of conception over and over and over again, used by some kind of flesh, some kind of being to torment yourself because you wanted to decide what was good and evil. You wanted to be your own boss. You wanted to be your own authority. You wanted to close off your mind so that no one would see what you're thinking. You wanted to hide. You wanted to hide from your own flesh. You put a mask on. You took my brain and sawed it in half and plugged it back into. You want my energy supply, but you want me to be limited to my neurons. There's an energy that exists. If you go to your classical definition of energy, it may not fit. It's the best word I have at the moment. There's an energy that exists, an existence that exists. That you have shut yourself off from if you are not flowing me. Not me, my ideas of flesh man, but meonics, me, the me that exists before time did and still does. And it's not limited to this world. And it's not limited to your shape or form. You see, up to this point, we have created God in our image. We think of God having 2 hands, 2 feet. Ridiculous. God that you serve, maybe the God that you serve that has vengeance in its veins, jealousy is its motive. But love sets free. Love does not create hierarchy. Hear me well. Love loves love. And love, you see, the way I define it, I am redefining it. I am distinguishing, contrasting for your maturity, if you're willing to grow up, if you're willing to conceive the seed of these words, so that your spiritual maturity is no more aborted by you and your adoption of religion that says you're separate. And Jesus was a special case. No, my friend. The very message, repeatedly, Jesus said, he referred to himself, Son of Man. A simple, common guy. Son of my mother, son of my father, son of man. I'm a simple, common guy. A simple, common guy. That has learned to love us. And that love teaches. And that love confides. Love communicates. And love is intimate with love. And when you're ready to open your heart to love and let love see you, see your faults, see your ugliness, see your wretchedness, your desire for retribution to those who have hurt you. And also see your beauty, your infinite authority, infinite love, your ability to create. You choose, my friend. You choose whether you will open your mind to faith, compassion, empathy, molecularization. I'm no longer tormented by my molecules or yours. I will no longer be spun on your axis. My energy does not require dipoles and will not operate in accordance with your classical physics anymore. Unless I want to. Jesus after the resurrection. Jesus, the pattern, after the resurrection appeared to the disciples fishing in the boat. Hey, you guys, cast your net on the other side. The other side. Don't you think they looked at each other? Who is this guy? We've been fishing all our life. We know these waters. We know how to fish. We know where the fish are. Cast your net on the other side. And they did. Lo and behold. At that moment, at least the story says, was it Peter? I think it was. I'm not sure. At that moment, his eyes were opened. Not by some spiritual force. All of a sudden, he realized. He put two and two together. Dove into the water. They brought the fish in. After the resurrection now. After Jesus was, whenever you think all of this occurred. But after the resurrection, Jesus was not limited to his molecular body. But he sat there, looked like a molecular man, a common man, son of man. Nothing special. Sat there and ate fish with them. And you can too. And this is what we're becoming. The human race that operates as the human race, limited to this earth in its present fashion and form. The iteration of creation that you see, that we think, we feel, we are experiencing and corroborate ourselves to ourselves, within our own mind, is ending. And we will lay down our life one by one. In one of two ways. We will play out our lives to the end of our life, getting older and older, more feeble, decrepit, and die of old age or be shot on the battlefield or whatever. Or we will defeat death one by one. Experiencing the new birth. Jesus said, if you believe in me, you'll never die. Are you willing to become non-human? Are you willing to give up your income, your house, your life, your friends? Are you willing to give up everything you own? Give away all your riches, sell everything, give the money to the poor? Wasn't that a story that has some value to us today? That message, grow up, that message was not to sell everything you have and give everything away. Don't be so shallow. Look at the motive. The motive of the story is saying, let not all of these riches, your affluence, your contentment, let not your mind, your cognitive power, your two eyes, your 5 sense creation limit you to this anymore? Are you willing to lay down your life? Are you willing to lay down your life? To do what? To become a new creation, a newborn. That's what born again means. And there hasn't been a second. Jesus was the first. I suggest to you, there hasn't been a second yet. You can be it. Women, men, whether you wear a turban or not, tattooed or not, whether you're a weightlifter, no matter what you've done, no matter who you are. Your life is love if you are willing to uncover it, discover it, develop it, see the seed of your creation and create it anew. I hit the button and a few minutes later I've recorded 56 minutes. See your power. Feel your love. You are not powerless. That which is of despair, no need to curse it. No power in the cursing of it. Just surrender it. Powerless against you. By your choosing, by your choice, by your word. What you flow, you become. I'm creating me. I'm recreating me. This is the regeneration. First Corinthians, second, I don't remember. In the time of the regeneration. In the time of the regeneration. A new heaven. What's wrong with the old one? A new earth. What's wrong with the old one? You see, we've been tempted by the tempter. Not a snake, but the mind. The mind said, oh, this set of decisions is one thing. Live your life according to this set. Your 5 sense mind. God is this, and you're this. Worship this. Wait on God. Emasculating the power of your love. But the power of my love goes begging no more. And I ask you to not go around as paupers anymore. In this kingdom, a planet called Earth, the cosmos is yours. The cosmos is our playground. You see, time and space do not exist like we think, like we had experienced classical physics. What do you know about the quantum world? What do you know about what's underneath the quantum world? What fabric of this universe are you no longer subject to? Are you willing to walk in power, see your power, walk in grace, love, and peace, diminishing women no more? If you don't want to abolish hierarchy, if you don't want to abolish patriarchy, you are not of the love that I speak of, speak with, that I become. For no one shall put one down in my kingdom. No one shall raise himself above another. It's not even a part of our thought process because of the one mind. Healing love. A couple thousand people coming together to develop a space flight capsule going to outer space. Plant a flag on the moon? Can you imagine the power of love? Love that doesn't shut you off, shut you out. Love that doesn't try to conquer you, compare you, condemn you. Love that teaches you to be like the father that received the prodigal son. Birth your love. Birth it every day through your words. Learn to channel. Learn meonics. Be the breath of God in your shoes. God before a God idea was ever born. I'm talking about before time. And this is what we're becoming, beholding. No longer shunning the amorphous me. I no longer take your shape. You are the light of the world, if you will be it. You will do the things I do if you love me. You'll never die if you love me. You'll walk on water. You'll see you can feed those in famine. You won't be afraid of the lion's den or the fiery furnace. You'll see that hell has no fury. You'll see that hell was a hoax. A story that empowered control. I'm asking you to take control of your story. Take control of your story because you are writing the ending. It's not predetermined in this book. Any book. Have you seen the movie The Words with Bradley Cooper? The Words. You're writing the ending. Have you seen the movie The Adjustment Bureau? Love it. Love the way it ends. You are not powerless. Are you willing to see your power? Open your eyes and not be limited by your five-sense mind. Let not your humanity rule you. You are of the cosmos. You are of a race of light, the interconnected, no longer limited to fashion, shape, or form. Be the real you. My name is Love in Two Shoes. For who will be me? All of the one who love each other. I love you all. I go now. I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube video channel if you haven't. And comment if you choose. I ask you to subscribe. I invite you, ask you to subscribe on my website to my occasional emails, TheodoreCottingham.com. I invite you to become a member of the school, and you can find out how on my website. I love you. Go where no man has gone. You have the ability, the power, and the authority. Now see you when you look in the mirror through the eyes of love, through the eyes of the understanding of the revelation of the real you. Thanks. Share these words. Love them, live them. Develop yours. Outline this lesson. Create a course. Blog. Let there be light. Living love forevermore. TheodoreCottingham.com. See you later. Thank you so much. Be the real you. Live your life, not someone else's. Live your life. Live your love. Let there be healing now over the earth. No more limiting you to this flesh. That's my message. Good day. See ya. I love you all. Thanks.